The streets are buzzing as the New York Knicks hold on 149 to 148 in a classic cardiac affair. There was follies, there was heroic plays. Let's chop it all up. Ladies and gentlemen, as the New York Knicks now head to the All-Star break, 36 and 18 on the season, and this one was ugly, but the New York Knicks pulled it out in OT. CT here on the post-game live on the road with the chat buzzing right now. I mean, I had my grades all ready to go. I was ready to go live. OT happened. Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean, what was he thinking? Giving the ball away, 7 turnovers from Cat. I had him as an A++, and then he completely reversed the grade. But we got the win, guys. Let's unpack it all. Will Selkin in the building, buzzer beater. Daryl Smith, salute. Chris Gotti says Brun Sim. Michael Drake. Troy CC. Tony's in the building as well. All the diehards in this one. Daniel Berry, salute. Look, we'll obviously have plenty of time to focus on the negatives and the constructive, critiques of this ball game, but good teams find a way to pull it out. You don't get rattled, you pull it out late. Jalen Brunson was the hero, in the minus tonight, minus 11, but, big game from Precious Achua, obviously off starting, but no Deuce McBride. I think that really hurt, guys, but I got to give a shout out to Mikal Bridges for that final possession, man, to not foul Trae Young and to go straight up and contest that one. I thought was really, really, really solid. So yeah, I'm going to need your help, guys, with the grades tonight, because the grades were changing with each passing minute with overtime, but I've settled on this for now. Karl-Anthony Towns, right, was going to get an A++, but almost threw the ball game away. 44 points, absolutely heroic performance. But you got to be better, You got to learn to close it out, right? As the Knicks 137 overtime, Cat was in his bag tonight, early, absolutely unstoppable performance in the first half. Second quarter was amazing, unconscious, but the decision making, to have him inbound the ball, not a wise decision at all. 7 turnovers did really, really hurt us. But yeah, Johnny, I almost lost my hat in OT, pulling my hair out, all of those things. Have a drink for me if you can. Right now I'm on the road, but what a thrilling game, guys. Thrilling finish. We win the season series against the Hawks now, or we tie. I think we probably own the tiebreaker still. I'll look that up, but it's two wins apiece right now, I think. Or are we 2-1 up? I feel like we've played the Hawks 3 or 4 times. I have to check that, but nonetheless, really important win as we head to the All-Star break now. 18 games above 500, for the first time this season. And also All-Star break beckons. Big break coming up for everyone. OG Anunoby can get healthy. Obviously, he needs to return. We see Deuce McBride tonight go down. He was questionable before the game, but was ruled out during the game, right, with a rib contusion. So prayers up for Deuce McBride. Hopefully, he heals up and it isn't too serious, right? But Cat was getting everything that he wanted at the half. As the New York Knicks were up 68-60, and this is just poor execution. I do think that the team does coast at times. They do find ways to take their foot off the gas. Pretty passing, but sometimes, they don't make the simple play. They try to make the highlight play when all you need to do when you're in control of a ball game is just to make that, risk-free play, take care of the basketball. 17 turnovers tonight on the team is not going to get it done, against a good team. fam, as I bring up the numbers, the Hawks killed us in fast break points, and a lot of them were coming off turnovers. Only 6 steals. Credit to the Hawks, 12 steals. Dyson Daniels was Dyson Daniels. What more can you say? 5 blocks to the Hawks 9. Frustrating that Georges Niang, got that block on Precious, didn't take care of the basketball late, but we pulled it out. 42% from distance. That was big. Obviously, Cat was on a tear early. 28 assists. Disappointing we didn't crack 30. But 50 rebounds to 63 is just, we needed extra size out there, and Tibbs continues to be tough on Huck Porty, right, as we pull up the grades, right. I'm not going to give out a game ball in this one. Cat was going to get it, but, we gritted it out as a team, and I feel like, Hart and Precious, get the B+. Brunson was in the minus. Turnovers from Cat. Those guys get the pass. They get the B for helping us pull it out. But Captain was heroic late. Chris says Trey shouldn't have got hot. He was struggling early. Yeah, that's the mindset where you have to have that killer mentality that this team just doesn't have quite yet. And I'm going to be quite honest about it. You got to be up 18 in this one early, and then you don't close it out. We're lacking that killer mentality. Maybe one extra doll like Josh Hart. I mean, I tell you, if this team had Dyson Daniels, just as an example, I'm just choosing any particular player right now. We've just seen Dyson tonight, but if this team had one more gritty defender and Dyson Daniels type player, I think that would tip us over the top. That would make us a championship, bona fide championship player in this one. Chance says, we'll always take an ugly win over a loss. Comment of the night. That's just so true in every single word of that. You learn, They say you never lose, you learn. But we actually learn, and we got the dub. Chance, so I'll say that. But yeah, great comment. You guys are buzzing, smashing that like button. CC corrects 2-2 in the series. So yeah, appreciate you, fam. A lot to learn. The Hawks aren't a good team, let's be honest. We get to see their new look squad. Obviously with, Terrence Mann. We got to see Georges Niang as well. Brought his Nick killer from the Cavs over to the Hawks. As Big Dave says as well, ugly win. And the agony of victory, says Tony, I'll take it. Michael Drake says, thank God for the All-Star game. Best record in 28 years. Tibbs gets an A+ for Michael Drake. Hey, that's a great comment too. We can't lose sight of where we sit right now. But I can't but help review this team through different expectations now. We are obviously well and truly a good team. I think we're on our way to becoming a great team. Mitchell Robinson's back soon, OG. But we just have to continue to learn and get better every single day. Fam, like Tom Thibodeau says. And look, I'm well aware we're missing OG and guys are filling in. Precious Achiuwa is not a starter in this NBA, but he can do a job. And tonight he did okay. But you see the rebounds, 63 to 50. That's not going to get it done against big teams. Okongwu, thankfully he missed a couple of free throws late as well. Shout out to Jay Hart for keeping his metal as well and sinking those big free throws as well, fam. But yeah, our transition defense is lacking at times too with the size. But look at that from Precious. Another huge night on the glass, finished in the plus. Got that big jam. He was found down low, cutting. That was a great play as well. One of our 28 assists. So yeah, Precious gets the B+ for me. And look, he's not perfect, obviously, but yeah, without OG, I think he's the next best option to start. I think Tibbs did. He does continue to give Huck Porty those 3 minutes in the first half just to evaluate, and try to space the lineups out. Shamet gave us some great minutes with the floor spacing as well, and Tibbs is obviously preferring that, as we all do with the spacing. But I do think when OG gets back before Mitch, obviously I think Huck Porty would probably still get his couple of minutes in the first half. But then I do think when Mitch gets back, Huck Porty will have to probably bide his time, and wait. As you guys continue buzzing, I'll shout out as many comments as I can. Johnny says, Bridges disappears for portions of the games. Why? I think he's always come into the league as kind of a, off-ball kind of guy. I think only later in his career, Johnny, is he kind of thriving on ball. But I just think, there's many options, and I do think the read and react offense, Tibbs doesn't run many plays, so it's kind of just the feel of the game, and I know a lot of fans want Brunson to move the ball more, less tunnel vision. When Karl-Anthony Towns is hot, it's kind of sit back and watch him, destroy. So I kind of feel like Bridges has to be more alpha. He has to command the ball at times, and understand that he's the third option on a great team, and he just needs to, call for the basketball sometimes, rather than just sit in the corner. But yeah, on that note, he is that corner spacer for us. So I do think that, that's the job, that's the role that Tibbs wants him to do, fam. B Fitz calls it out as well. Yeah, basics are killing us at times, like inbound passing. Look, yeah, sometimes we execute, sometimes we don't. I'm glad we were able to get that timeout call. Brunson was too nonchalant with the basketball around, a soon to be, up and coming defensive demon in Dyson Daniels. I mean, you have to read the basketball game, understand that. I get where Brunson was coming from. Dyson was on his fifth foul, but how great he is that, he was defending well with 5 fouls, and you have to understand, your personnel. But B Fitz, man, like Clyde called out, silly things like fouling under the basket, but still allowing the offensive player to get the shot up. If you're going to foul, make a hard foul, 90s style, Charles Oakley, down low, man, no blood, no foul. And sometimes we were just, fouling with our hands and just letting the guys get their shots up still. And that killed us as well. But yeah, thankfully they missed some free throws too, fam. Michael Drake agrees. Yeah, we need another dog. Kevin Middleton's in the building. Salute, chat, buzzing. I'll get to as many comments as I can. Chance says, this team is close. We've beaten everyone, but the very top teams, just not sure if Tibbs will take us there. We struggle against young legs and good three-point shooting teams. Yeah, I think it's just down to mindset. I actually think ability-wise, this team can get there. I actually think this team has enough. But I believe 50% of the game is up here, fam, and I do feel like we just are nonchalant, lackadaisical, 18 points up. You have to put your foot on the throat of the opponent and make sure that they don't get back into that ball game. And I do think we kind of play on the personalities of our players. Brunson's a very chill dude. Cat's a very chill guy. Sometimes too, frustrating. Hart, he said it himself. He's going to make one boneheaded play every single game. Precious Achua can have butterfingers sometimes. And I do think, Mikal Bridges is kind of that guy that's a chill kind of guy as well. So I do think we need to get more intensity. That could be what's holding us back. Payne played a great game, says Michael Drake. Kevin's not happy with some of the Clyde's commentary. Yeah, I think Clyde, he does call it quite neutral at times, but yeah, I could see where you're coming from, but no, protect Clyde. I do think that, he's a treasure. He calls it like he sees it sometimes. Yeah, a lot of the home announcers on other teams are homers sometimes, but our guys are the complete opposite. Payne's game, as I bring up the bench grades for tonight, fam, Payne will top score with A- in his role because Payne was bringing the pain for ATL tonight. I love his tempo, his ability to play under control now. He's been really consistent the last 3 games with distributing and shot selection. Deuce McBride, as I mentioned, went out with a rib contusion, incomplete C+, average grade. Huck Pority, I think he was okay in his 3 minutes. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, C+. But Landry Shamet, I think, continues to be solid defensively, and starting to hit a few shots, guys. Ernest says, I don't think maybe Bridges is happy in his role with us. Look, if he isn't, then he has to get used to it. He wants to get paid, and we got a lot of guys, Ernest, and I do think, whatever helps the team win. Guys just have to strap themselves in, and be a team player. Hart will do everything that this team needs. Freeway says Shamet proving to be worthy for minutes. Yeah, he's really stepping up as a vet minimum guy. Maybe he watched some film. Maybe he's taken on some of the coaches' critique. He's been playing a little bit out of control at times, but I think he's starting to step it up. But yeah, on Shamet's front, like you said, Landry Shamet is a guy that has been solid defensively. But if he can just give us that little bit offensively, then that'll swing the needle in his favor. And, he can guard, and he can hit some shots as well. So, yeah, this will tie into Tony's comment. Only 14 bench points, unacceptable. Right, so I'm going to bring an update. Tonight's game in Westchester, our guy, TJ Warren, as I ask you all in the comment section in the chat, who is going to be our 15th guy? Because we see without Deuce, we need some production. Let me bring up the comment. Leading candidate for the 15th spot, TJ Warren, went ham once again tonight. Had 29, 8 rebounds, 5 assists with 1 minute left in the ball game. So basically flirting with a triple-double. He's too good for the G League right now. And you've got to bring him up. Right, here's that scorer that we need. I don't think there's anyone else in the buyout market that's better than TJ Warren. And, he's with our G League club, So yeah, Lonnie, rib contusion. Deuce McBride suffered an injury during the game. They're saying it's a rib contusion, and he'll be evaluated. So got the All-Star break coming up, and I think, hopefully it's nothing serious. But he was questionable before the game as well. So I think that played into the factor why he didn't return as well. But, Deuce is that warrior. He continues to fight for us. Michael Drake likes TJ Warren. Johnny, great comment, says, although Cat was great, the hero ball and other players standing around translates to lackadaisical D and loss of basics. Yeah, and that's on the coach too, Johnny. The coach has to call timeouts, coach these guys up. And I do think Chris Finch, I did pay attention to some of the words, when Cat was in Minnesota. He was a guy that frustrated Finch at times, had 60-point performances with Minnesota, and he was hunting for his shot a little too much at times. And look, we know Cat's a special offensive player, but, that's on the captain and guys to basically, play team basketball. I'm disappointed we didn't crack 30 assists, as a team. Heading into All-Star break now. Let's look at top 10 in minutes per game coming into tonight. One of the questions you guys asked tonight is why Mikal Bridges comes in and out of the ball games. Well, I got a feeling it's a lot to do with his, minutes. His NBA's Iron Man hasn't missed a ball game in his entire career, and he does play that way sometimes, where he doesn't go for every single loose ball, and he tries to stay out of trouble sometimes, out of foul trouble, and also out of, collisions and all of those things. So I do think Hart obviously is a difference maker. Third in minutes, Mikal Bridges coming in number 1 in minutes. So, and OG rounding out the top 10. So we have 3 guys in the top 10 in minutes per game this season, right? Is that going to catch up to us? We'd better get that 15th man on the roster, fam. That's my opinion. Or, continue with this 9-man rotation, right? But 6 points up with 10 seconds left in this ball game. How do you let it go to overtime? Well, this is what happened, man. Georges Niang hit a 3. Dyson, the Great Barrier Thief, stole the inbound off a terrible pass from Cat, lackadaisical, lost his mind in that one. They hit 1 of 2 free throws. The Hawks got 1 offensive rebound. Trae Young got fouled, man. Thankfully, he didn't convert the and 1. That could have killed us tonight. Tie game, headed to OT. And this is where the Knicks went down early, went down 5 in OT. And I thought, man, we're gonna lose this one because the momentum is with the Hawks. But Jalen Brunson stepped up. The Knicks made some great plays. The Hawks switched off defensively. Precious made a nice cut. Hart made some good plays as well. And the New York Knicks prevailed and gritted this one out to the highest scoring game of the season in the NBA. 148-149. So yeah, appreciate your buzzer. I packed my stuff, but yeah, I didn't pack my fitted, fam, my lid. So yeah, one of the rare occasions I haven't got it on tonight, but nonetheless, I think the Knicks, escape from jail tonight, man. We escape prison, and we move on now. 18 games above 500. But yeah, if I'm being, critiqueful in terms of what this team has to get better at, man, we have to stay focused. We have to get sharper in terms of taking care of possessions, and also putting our foot on the throat, taking care of these, early leads, right? Missing a couple of our best players, you can make that excuse, I guess, but tunnel vision, and guys got to share the basketball more. We should have had more than 28 assists tonight, but once again, isolation ball did bail us out. And if you are going to go down that road of isolation ball, we have 2 of the best isolation ball players in the game. So, a lot of these games we might pull out, but you have to learn their lesson. Big Dave says it, It's just, I had to reverse the grade because I was ready to come on. OT happened. I had A++ for Cat, 44 points, back-to-back games. And now 7 turnovers almost lost us the game, but we escaped. And he'll get a pass tonight. But, yeah, 7 turnovers, fam, not inexcusable. Yeah, and same with buzzer beater on this one. You call it like you see it, fam. And I think Brunson, you take the good and the bad, but man, pick your poison, man. Don't take on Dyson Daniels down the stretch like that. Because he's basically a thief in the night, and he's elite. I think he could win Defensive Player of the Year. What do you guys think? Now that we've seen Dyson Daniels 4 times, would you think he's the front runner, or would you want to give it to Wembanyama? OG Anunoby might have a thing to say about that. Mikal Bridges has been inconsistent defensively, but Dyson Daniels, I think, is just on another level, man, as a perimeter defender. And I use that guy as an example. For anyone that's just tuning in right now, welcome in. Smash that like button. I honestly think the Knicks could be just one piece away, and it doesn't have to be a superstar. It doesn't even have to be a star. It could be a guy that is elite in their role. Now, Dyson Daniels is not great offensively right now. Amen Thompson is not even a great player offensively right now. But if you put their defensive game on this New York Knicks team, and it's a wrap. The Knicks would go toe-to-toe with OKC and Boston, I think. So I think we're missing that one more piece. A defensive dog with some grit. Cross signals in the house. We're 18 games above 500 now, which is good. But yeah, really, we're third seed, and I think most years that would have us in second. So I do think we've still got work to do. Johnny Tyler Kolek was out tonight with injury, by the way. Let me pull it up. I don't know if it was serious, but Kolek was out with the right ankle sprain tonight. So, yeah, I think he could be a factor late down the stretch. We'll see. DeLon Wright, the newer acquisition from Jericho Sims, hasn't yet seen meaningful minutes. Campaign gets the A- for me, Buzzer, in his role. He performed his role and definitely kept us rolling off the bench. Yeah, a lot of you agree. Michael says a defensive dog with grit. Johnny says Dyson Daniels, defensive player of the year. And Julian Blum, salute, says Dyson, definitely. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. That's what we thought Mikal Bridges was going to be. OG Anunoby's he's not a pit bull on the perimeter, but he's a guy that's, an elite defensive player, guarding bigger guys, wings, and switching onto bigs as well. But yeah, man, I think if Leon could pull a move and somehow get a Tyree Eason, Oklahoma got Alex Caruso. That's a great example. Even if it's to a lesser extent, just another Deuce McBride, that might be enough, fam. Have 2 Deuce McBrides off the bench. I know I say that, but I know Deuce McBrides don't fall out of the sky, but that's the kind of guy we're missing right now off our bench. I can't wait to get Mitch and OG back. That could be the next big difference maker to take us to that next level, right? A guy to make up for Cat's weaknesses, and a guy that is obviously going to push Precious back to the bench, fam. And then you see Huck Porty, get some center minutes off the bench, fam, together with Precious for those big lineups off the bench. I do think that's key. But yeah, I did like Campaign's game tonight. Great back-to-back performances, Buzzer. Payne finished 5 of 7. Was dishing, swishing as well. Not much production off our bench right now. Get TJ Warren in there. We need the extra size as well. I do want to get a look at DeLon Wright. I think Tibbs is going to be Tibbs. He's going to bring him along slowly. He's going to play the hierarchy. And he's going to, make sure that he's winning practices to get minutes over the current guys, just so he doesn't lose the locker room. But yeah, Johnny says DeLon's D is great, but he won't get run right now. Yeah, I think Tibbs said it, his insurance right now. But Deuce is out, so he might get that chance. An update on Kevin McCullough, L Tango 45, salute chat, Buzz Nation. Kevin McCullough is still out, missed tonight with a calf. I do think that's going to be something that is going to keep him out for a little. Doesn't appear to be, a season-ending injury, but those calf complaints can be tricky. So, yeah, Kevin McCullough returned to Westchester, obviously played his second game and then pulled up. I was watching, he chased a loose ball out of bounds, and then he pulled up with a calf injury. So, and then he's missed the next 3, unfortunately. So, word of advice: I don't think it's wise to count on Kevin McCullough for this season. I've got really high hopes for him for next season, but I just don't think Kevin McCullough is going to be a factor this season. He has to get his health in order, and he has to, stay healthy. But I would prefer to see Pacome Dardier before him. We've got DeLon Wright as well, but right now Shamet stepped up. Right, Shamet gets the B for me tonight. You could say we don't win without his production off the bench, playing defense, starting to hit a few shots now, getting an assist and a rebound as well in limited minutes. So big time, opportunity for Landry Shamet. If he doesn't grasp this opportunity right now, he'll be out of the rotation come the playoffs. And I do think that he has to take his opportunities right now. Julian makes a great point about Mikal. I do think Towns and Brunson have to find a way to get him involved more. Also the coach, call some plays, come in, get him, running off the curl, get him a couple of easy shots, get his confidence going. But I think credit to Mikal, he hasn't sort of complained, he hasn't, through all the adversity, he's kind of kept upbeat, battles, still hits those mid-range, baseline J's, moves the basketball well as well. He's a good playmaker, can get some assists as well. I think we just need his three-point shot to really get to that elite level, and then his defense. Big Dave says this team is too talented to be this frustrating. Yeah, I think they're just not kind of buckled in yet. They're not kind of locked in yet, and hopefully that can happen when the playoffs start or before the playoffs, fam, because I do think, this team just, they're too casual. I think that's the best way to describe this team right now, especially Brunson with the basketball. I mean, the way he's loosey-goosey handling it is like he's on the West 5th, Rucker Park, it's just he needs to take care of the basketball more. But I do think that Tibbs is kind of overplaying him as well. I do think Brunson should be playing no more than 35 minutes. If I'm just, my ideal is to keep Brunson 35, because once fatigue creeps in, you make more mistakes, you lose your head, you lose your legs, fatigue is the number one factor in terms of poor execution down the stretch, right? A lot of people want to criticize, the minutes argument, the minutes police, but it's not necessarily related to injuries. It's just fatigue, in my opinion. You want your guys fresh to close the game out, right? And obviously that's on Leon Rose as well. Get some more help coming off the bench, and then hopefully these guys can sit more. But I like Campaign's game more than Brunson's tonight in terms of just, he was quick, he was efficient, making quick decisions. He was driving, getting fouled. Wasn't dribbling 1,000 times. So I do think that, Payne's first step is quicker than Brunson's, and sometimes that is what this team needs. Just get downhill, collapse the D, and make a play or get fouled. Sometimes Brunson just takes too long on the basketball, and sometimes for Cat it's the opposite. Sometimes he just goes too quick. So that's the frustration we're dealing with, I think, with our two best players at times, fam. As incredible, as great as they can be, sometimes they're their own worst enemy, I also feel like Brunson does ignore the roll man a lot. He does have good synergy with Huck Porty for some reason. Whenever Huck Porty's out there, Brunson does tend to find him on the alley-oops and the pocket pass, the dump down. But when Brunson's playing with like Precious, Mitch, Cat, not seeing enough pick and roll. I feel not seeing enough pick and roll at times. So that's the situation for me. I think Brunson has to keep his head up and honor the roll man, because that's what keeps the defense honest, fam, with the floor spacing as well in the pick and roll. Right, especially when Mitch is about to return, you need that. So we've got JI in the house. For those that missed it, Miles McBride, rib contusion, is out for the rest of the game. He was questionable coming in, so I think it was more precautionary. But rib contusion, those can be painful, fam. If you guys don't already know, But Deuce McBride, he's a warrior. And he'll continue to battle. But now that we're in the All-Star break, we edge closer to March 1st, which means that the New York Knicks can bring up the 15th guy. Now let me know who you would like to see this club bring up. a bucket getter like TJ Warren, 29, 8 and 5 tonight. He's been absolutely incredible, and I can't believe he hasn't been called up. You know, I just can't believe that he's still, you know, running around in the G. And I've got to think that he has a promise that the Knicks are going to bring him up. Michael says, in 5 years, has Tibbs shaken up his coach's efforts, plays, getting every player involved? It's a lot of read and react, but yeah, I would like to see a little bit more pick and roll. We do have the floor spacing. We do have the bigs as well. Yeah, you've said this before, Buzzer, you know, very consistent. I think it's not as realistic, but close to 30 would be good, you know, 33, 34 in terms of minutes per night. But yeah, you know, you look at Oklahoma, I think how fresh they're going to be. You know, teams like Cleveland can go 10 deep, 11 deep. Even the Hawks before their injuries, you know, with Jalen Johnson and those guys, DeAndre Hunter before he got traded, they could have gone 9 to 10 deep. A lot of the elite teams, Boston, can go 11 deep. Over the sum of an 82-game season and 4 playoff series, that could be the difference. That could be the difference, you know, going who goes 10 deep, who goes 11 deep. Because Brunson and Cat, like, they're carrying us right now. And I think fatigue is creeping in. What's up, Vaughn? Nick's pulling out these close games lately. It ain't pretty, but it sure is gritty. Big time, you know. Best believe we are in control of these Eastern rivals in terms of everyone not named Boston and Cleveland, you know, who we're going to get to see 2 and 3 more times. But Indy, we're in control for season series. Miami, Orlando. It's funny, Detroit actually is the only one we don't have the season series on yet. ATL bites the dust tonight. Who else am I missing, fam? Milwaukee, we have the season series. So, a lot of credit to this club, you know. We are controlling our fate right now. But, yeah, is Father Time, you know, is fatigue going to creep up to us as the season goes along? Look, credit to Tibbs. He is kind of giving Shamet opportunities now. Huck Pority, he's still keeping him in there, you know, 2 games in a row. I know it's not been many minutes, but it's something. You know, it gives Cat a breather in that first half. You know, he's paying Payne extended minutes as well. So that's key, I think, as the season goes along. And I think you got to pick your moments, because if there's a game where Payne is playing really well, I do think you have to ride that and then, you know, allow Brunson just to sit a few more minutes. You know, I don't think that'll really hurt. You know, if Payne's rolling, if he's not rolling, then by all means bring, you know, JB back in. But, you know, you got to try to steal these minutes. So that leads us to the All-Star break, and the conversation will shift now to what am I most looking forward to for the second part of this season, guys. You let me know in the chat right now. What are you most looking forward to or paying attention to the most for the second half of this season, right? For me, obviously we're going to get OG Anunoby back, right? But we've seen that. We've seen OG with this club. But it has to be the return of Mitchell Robinson and the lineups together with Karl-Anthony Towns, right? That is the biggest question mark hanging over this club right now. For the positive, for the curious, I do think that it's going to work. I think it's going to look great, but I just want to see how Mitch looks, you know, how ready is he? You know, is he, I mean, if he looks amazing in the first game, then expectations are going to go through the roof. If he looks a little rusty in his first game, it's going to be like, okay, let's see, you know, can he play 20 minutes a night and give us something? But together next to Cat, I think that's really going to, you know, reduce his deficiencies and accentuate his strengths, you know. because, let's face it, Cat is an elite rebounder and he's been rebounding well at the 5. If you put Mitch out there and you put Cat to the 4 with that rebounding level, I think we're going to absolutely dominate the glass. We're going to absolutely dominate the glass. So buzzer beater, we are 3rd seed right now. We are a game and a half back of Boston. So that continues. Boston beat us, obviously, recently. But we are now, we're a good 5-6 games above the 4th seed now. So the New York Knicks, continue to maintain their gap between the 3rd and the 4th spot. I don't think the 4th seed is going to catch us, but I don't think we're going to catch the 2nd seed, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to be tough to catch Boston. But look, for this early, to have the 3rd spot already kind of, almost nailed in, I think that's positive. Johnny says, let's look at the bright side. Huge rest time for most of the team. Healthy OG and Mitch will return, and Tibbs rotation. It thins the rotation. It'll open this rotation. Yeah, I think adding 2 more bodies to tonight's roster, it's pleasing, because then Shamet probably, goes back to situational, but that you can trust him for a little bit. So Julian agrees with Mitch. That's what I'm looking at. Johnny agrees as well. Mitch's injection of energy and minutes will help stabilize the D. Julian says, I hope Mitch secures those ankles. I think we have to be smart, I think 15 minutes a night, see how it goes, see how he pulls up. Because that's going to be key, just to keeping him healthy, fam. Also, Deuce is so important. But as you guys see here, James L. Edwards, Christian Winfield of the Knicks Beat talks about how the Knicks pick and roll defense is struggling at times. And a lot of teams are putting Mikal Bridges in ball screens. And I do think that's something that we need to rotate. More lineups with Deuce, more lineups with Shamet and Payne, because that is going to wear Mikal Bridges down. He's been doing a decent job throughout the season, but OG is the, sort of last line of defense, backup kind of guy. But in terms of on-ball defense, I want to see DeLon Wright. I want to see him get a shot, because our pick and roll defense is a weakness, and obviously they're going to pull Karl-Anthony Towns. They're going to try to pull Brunson into that pick and roll defense, and that's just going to, wear those guys down as well. Buzzer Beater says, is Cat a good passer? Can he and Mitch form a good 1-2 punch? I mean, I feel like you should know already by now, fam. You've been watching all season. Cat is an elite passer, and, he'll find you if you get open. In terms of him and Mitch, I think it's going to work well. I do think 1-2 punch, I think it's just going to come down to the spacing, making sure that guys, keep moving into the space and not eat up too much space down low. Cat has to come out on the perimeter, on the corners, and free up Mitch down low in the dunker spot. You're going to get Brunson hopefully into more pick and roll with Mitch in the lob threat. I think that's key as well. Al Tango says, second half, looking forward to new lineups and seeing who we pick up. TJ, who we get rid of. I don't think we're going to get rid of anyone, really. I think that's my early estimate. I think because of the finances of this ball club, if we cut someone, their salary is still going to count towards the cap. So I know there's been a lot of whisper and rumours around the Knicks maybe cutting somebody. But in terms of adding a guy, the 15th spot on March 1st is that date to look out for, to add the 15th guy. But I don't think we're going to cut anyone because, like I said, it's going to cost against the second apron. It's going to get us into that second apron. So I think everyone will stay. Buzzer Beater says Boston can be caught. You know, definitely, I think it's a chance. I think you could be right. I just don't see it happening, but I think Boston would have to, lose a few more games. They've been a little inconsistent in this last few months. I don't know how tough their schedule is, fam, but I do think that they might start to get bored. They might get an injury, and the Knicks are right there. So, but it is going to be tough, because we are going to face some tough teams. If we take a look at the schedule, right after the All-Star break, it's Chicago, Cleveland, back-to-back. Then it's Boston, Philly, Memphis. So that's definitely going to be welcome back to work after the All-Star break. In terms of coaching the All-Star game, no, the coaches of the number one seeds coach the All-Star games, fam. So it will be Cleveland's coach, and it'll be the coach of Oklahoma, fam, I believe. The coach of the first seeded teams usually get the coach. Johnny says a Kongu seemed to kill the Knicks on offensive glass, almost won them the game. Yeah, I think Precious's size is a issue at times, and I do want to see those extended lineups with Mitch, Cat, or Huck Pority, Cat. But definitely, got to execute better, and I do think that we dodged a bullet. I think that's a great way to wrap this thing up tonight. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, as we'll have plenty of content coming throughout the All-Star break, but the New York Knicks got in overtime, gritted it out. I think execution late is obviously excellent, putting the ball in the cup, but defensively have to be a lot smarter in terms of taking care of possessions and getting the right guys into the game. I think Tibbs was a little stubborn. He could have gone defensive. I think substitutions, get Huck Pority in there for some rim protection as well. But that's me nitpicking. I think Tibbs still has to learn to coach, more defense, offense, and switch it up. I don't know why Cat is out there in some of these final possessions. I think he's not, the best big man defender on the team, but Mitchell Robinson coming back. So let's get it, everyone. We'll break down the All-Star buzz. What are we, Wednesday night tonight? Hopefully come on live Friday, Saturday, before the All-Star game, and chop it up for another live stream. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Johnny, Julian, Buzzer Beater, El Tango, D. Grant. We've got about 7 days break now, 6 to 7 days break, a full week, which is great. Everyone else in the building tonight, El Tango, JL in the building, Michael Drake, Vaughn Allen, Will Salkin, Buzzer Beater, and we've got the streets buzzing, guys. Peace, everyone. Knicks get it. 149, 148, 18 games over 500. All eyes now to the final stretch of this season. We'll be there no matter what. Peace.